Welcome, everyone, to the second episode of the 62 Who Knew podcast, the podcast that challenges the double-edged sword of longer lifespans and brings you every service that you could possibly want from the best experts in the country to make it from 62 to God knows what, 90, 100, 110 maybe, who knows. But that's 62 Who Knew. Now, our guests this week are the same as the guests last week. That is unusual. But this topic, the mystery of long-term care insurance, is so important in this nation right now. It's always been important, but COVID-19 kind of pushed it in our face and told us how important it is that we all plan for later points in life with long-term care insurance, long-term care protection, in-home care. And we don't start at 62. Probably have to start at 52, maybe 42. But I didn't want to change the name of the show because all my stationery and all my business cards say 62. So that's the way we base that decision. So welcome, Tafa Jefferson, president and founder of Amada Senior Care. Matt McCann, president and founder and ex-radio legend of LTC News, the number one source of long-term care insurance and in-home care news in the country, not just to consumers, but to the industry as well. Mr. John Thomas, the vice president and project coordinator for Amada that works with Tafa and does some incredible things and brings things like this to Amada. And last but certainly not least, the legend herself, Cassandra Watson, who is the president and thank you, man. And the crowd goes wild. The president and founder of LTC Platinum Solutions, which is in the top 2% of this country in long-term care insurance producers. And she is the brains behind that operation. I learn something every time I'm on the phone with Cassandra. I learn something every time I'm on the phone with all of you. But we're going to pick up, for those of you that didn't see the first episode, why not? What the hell's wrong with you? Why didn't you see the first episode? But for those of you that didn't, we discussed the mystery of long-term care insurance, why it is on the tip of everybody's tongue. Everybody knows they need it, yet the masses have not quite got involved in it. In fact, one of my best friends and somebody that will be a guest, and somebody that you all know, used to tell me that long-term care insurance is not health insurance. It's wealth insurance. And I love that. But most of the country isn't wealthy. And one of the things I want to accomplish in 62 Who Knew is how we get quality long-term care to all of America, not just the wealthy. That being said, let's delve into what we did last week just for a while. We talked about different products. We talked about, and Cassandra, you were the most to the point, even before you said that in the pre-show. It was literally on my notes that when I said, why can't we get the masses? Why can't we get the people? You were the person that gave the most to the point and poignant answer. So I'm going to give you the question again. Why is it considered wealth insurance when all of America needs it? Take it, Cassandra. And I know Matt's going to have, I know you all have input to this.
Yeah, thanks for having us again, Mike. Nice to see everybody. It's always a good time. Directly to your question, I think it's a really relevant and timely question. There's something that you guys all have heard before, that the silver tsunami is coming, right? If you're in the industry or tangent to the industry, this is something that we all have heard spoken of. And unfortunately, what that means is that we are going to see a lot of stress on our industry and on the services that we provide to people, and really what that looks like on a day-to-day level. And so the question of how do we bring long-term care insurance and quality care to more people is like an incredibly relevant and poignant question. I think where we're at now as an industry is we are dealing with this conception that long-term care insurance is incredibly expensive. Sometimes if people don't know anything about long-term care, they might know that it's expensive or think they know it. And so every day for the last 10 years, we take major pleasure in showing people how they can get affordable coverage. uh, and, at the end of the day, long-term care insurance helps people get access to quality care. It helps them maintain some independence. It helps them feel peace of mind when they have the insurance. But we do need to be talking with people that have maybe some assets to protect on the insurance side.
Of course.
And so I'd love to open it up to the rest of the group and see what they have to say.
Go.
Well, let me follow up on that, and I'll debate you a little bit. I'm not sure who said it was wealth insurance, but I've talked to literally thousands of people about this topic since 1998. The number one thing that people tell me that they're concerned about is access to quality care and not being a burden on their family. Money, of course, is important, but believe it or not, that is not the number one concern. And so when we look at the problem of long-term care planning, whether you're a consumer trying to think, what am I going to do after I retire? Who's going to take care of me? Is it going to be my daughter, my daughter-in-law? Certainly not my spouse. These are the concerns people have. Money, of course, is important. Money makes the world go round. We all know that. But the access to quality care, and I know that Tafa and John can actually talk about that because they provide quality care. That's a big concern, and it ties in to not being a burden on those you love. And I think most people whether they're financial advisors, insurance agents, even some long-term care specialists, we sometimes tend to focus on the wrong things because we don't listen. And I think we have to do a better job of listening to the consumer and let them tell us what they need. And that's what they've told me over the years.
Yeah, Mike, I think that's exactly right. We're not in the insurance planning side of the conversation at Amada Senior Care, but we talk to families and we sit down with families every day. Families that are forced to make hard decisions about how much care they can afford, how it's going to impact their overall retirement plan and the assets that they've set aside, and what obligation their family has to provide some of that care alongside professional caregiving. I'll just share on a personal note. I have a great aunt, and I've shared this story with a few over the years. And my great aunt continues to get older, and this summer she'll be 104, and she has received care at home around the clock, 24/7, and it's been a combination of care from professional caregivers and family. And it's that care for nearly 15 years has cost about $15,000 a month, and she is a widow. And fortunately, her husband was in real estate and left her some money that put her in the millionaire category. And I could tell you she is very much not a millionaire anymore. And so, it is wealth protection, right? And we talk about longevity. We have no idea how long we're going to live. If you're fortunate to live a long life, that this insurance planning can significantly protect the assets and the hard work and the money that you've set aside.
I've been doing this for about 29 years now, and it's so difficult when you're sitting in the homes working with the families, and they realize that there's not enough coverage with home health or with hospice or whatever the Medicare benefit could potentially be. Stark difference from the families that we sit with that have the long-term care insurance product. And I think Cassandra said it best in the last episode, some coverage is better than no coverage at all. What I've learned over the years is just that. Families are so grateful and thankful that they had a professional in their lives or in their work environment through a retirement plan or through a group a plan of some sort where it was a part of the retirement package and they took advantage of it. They opted in, right? Again, just to kind of bring the conversation back to, the cost of care, I think most Americans aren't really in tune with the escalating costs of care. And some families are having to borrow from their homes. Some families are having to take out a second, a mortgage. In some cases, many families are selling the family home in order to, free up resources for mom or dad, or for their loved one, maybe grandmother or grandfather. And it's tough to see, those assets having, the families having to deplete those assets, those family assets. But, it's a stark reality of the times that we live in. And again, I think a lot of the catalysts for this was COVID. Once COVID kind of exposed us all, and we realized how fragile our healthcare system was, I think families were faced with taking a hard look in the mirror and saying, how are we going to afford for care for mom or dad, or what if something happens to me? So, I mean, I think it's a discussion and a conversation that we need to have more and more, and the more people that we can educate on this, product, the better. Again, I don't sell long-term care insurance. The professionals here do, but I will tell you, I've sat with many families who do not have the long-term care insurance, and it's painful. It really is painful. And a lot of times it puts an undue stress or burden on the family, because in some cases, when they don't have the resources to hire an agency, the daughter or the son or a nephew or aunt or uncle is found, they have to pitch in and they have to help. So, which is great. But, these products allow consumers to have choice, choice to whether you want to age in place at home, age in place at an assisted living community, or in some cases, there's not a lot of choices, because the episode of care escalates so quickly. We're having to transition to a memory care community, but with these products, it gives families a wide variety of choices, and they can kind of pick their spots. So huge in it.
Yeah, you brought up something incredible, and so did Cassandra. And that's why two of our future shows that are going to be coming very quickly is a show with a couple of you and a senior vice president of a very large mortgage company, our other national sponsor, American Pacific Mortgage. When I see people, not 100 and someone years old like John's aunt, but thinking about selling their home, and I'm not a realtor, I'm a mortgage person, and I go, well, why are you thinking of that? Well, we have a lot of equity, but we need to help mom and dad. The kids are going to college. They're just getting to that age. We love the house, but we just don't have the ability. So we are going to donate an entire show in the next week or two to financing options for these people, not just reverse mortgages, but HELOCs, home equity lines of credit, incredible things that we can do for veterans. There are ways to do this without liquidating an asset that most people are not aware of. It's just, like I said, if I had to pick a goal of what this podcast would do, it would be to show people that think they can't afford it, they can. I thought I was schooled in that, but Matt schooled me on it even better after last week's episode when I gave the example of expense. When I went back on Thursday nights, my daughter and I play in a trivia league, and our team is myself, my daughter, two attorneys, one person in charge of VA benefits for the state of Florida or the West Coast of Florida, and a school teacher. So these are learned people. And when I told them that what the first episode was about, and we got to tell everybody, none of them have long-term care insurance. They have what their work gives them, which is basically short-term, and they can afford it. I mean, it's just too expensive. It's just too expensive. And when I gave Matt's example, one of them called bullshit. I said, no, not bullshit, real. And that's why we're going to have an appointment with him, either Cassandra and I or Matt and I, very quickly. That's the public perception, and we have to change it. But
Mike, I think let me back up for a second. And so there's listeners listening to this, hopefully in the millions, who are in their 40s, their 50s, their 60s, and they're thinking about the future. And, it's more than products. It's more than events. It is being prepared for the next phase of life. And I hope listeners don't think we're going to sit here and talk about, well, you should buy this and you should buy that. You should have a plan. And I think that's probably the number one thing is planning. And of course, people hear that word planning and it gets a little scary. But not everything that we're going to talk about is going to be scary. It may be, what's the best cruise to take? What are you going to do after you retire? What's going to be fun? Have any of you played pickleball? I have no clue what pickleball is. I hear about it. I have no clue. And there's a lot of people that want to know these things. So we're going to cover so many fun things, but at the same time, important and serious things. Because life is serious, unfortunately, but life is more than just being serious.
That's right.
And you can have fun as you plan. And we're going to have fun talking about life. So by the time a lot of you get to 62, you're saying, oh, God, 62, who knew? I'm here. Now what? Well, there's a lot more to do after you're 62. And, there's at least one person, two people here that have made it that far. And there's a lot of our listeners that will make it that and beyond. And I think Cassandra mentioned longevity. Man, that is why we're all here. It's just difficult to die. And if you don't die, and you can quote me on this, if you don't die, it's a secret. You live.
That's right. And it's amazing. Longevity is the word of the century. And before I take our first commercial break, because I want to recognize all of our sponsors, we're going to take 4 one-minute breaks just to so I can tell you about our sponsors. One of the things that you brought up, Tafa, that we're going to donate an entire show to, is that it is usually a daughter or a daughter-in-law that becomes a caretaker. And one of our guests is going to be a New York Times best-selling author that has wrote a couple of books about how women are having a rougher time retiring in today's world. They get to 62, they're a professional, they make good money. Their husband's IRA or 401k has $320,000 in it because he's been working for 30 years. The wife's has less than half. Why? Because the wife might have taken anywhere from 5 to 10 years off of her career to help mom and dad, or mom-in-law and dad-in-law. And when we had her on a previous 62 Who Knew episode, it was staggering how many women are not prepared for retirement, but it's not their fault. They helped their family members have incredible lives. So that's going to be an exciting show. All right, our first commercial break, and I want to tell you about LTC News. Planning for future long-term care can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. LTC News is the top internet destination for American families to learn about aging, caregiving, health, long-term care, and retirement planning. At LTC News, they provide the tools and resources to help you prepare for the future costs and burdens of aging and making informed decisions. Whether you're expecting long-term care insurance, researching care costs, or facing family crisis, LTC News has you covered. But what if your family is going through a loved one now who does need that, or soon will need care? If you have a loved one who will soon be needing LTC care, please go to the Caregiver Directory, which connects you with over 80,000 caregivers and home care agencies like Amada Senior Care. It connects you with senior communities, adult daycare centers, assisted living, and memory care and nursing facilities. So you can find quality care quickly for that loved one that's who's in need. Okay, this information is free and it's comprehensive. So visit LTC News now at www.ltcnews.com. Or, of course, did I add an extra W there? I think I might have.
You did. There's only three W's.
There's only 3 W's. We may be the 4th W because we're getting that.
We probably should explain your mistake and why we're laughing.
Yes.
Because I wrote the copy and I typed it.
I know. Look what he did.
I typed out the word
W. He typed out the words.
So because I didn't want to have him say www dot. So
Okay, I don't say W.
U. Yeah.
I'm not from, I won't insult the state. Never mind. I'm from New York. We say our W's correctly. Or besides www.ltc news, go to www.62who knew. Click on the LTC news thing, and it'll bring you right LTC news thing, and you got me all flustered. You're not supposed to do that to the host, and it'll bring you right to the caregivers page. It's a staggering sight, not just because he's here that I'm saying that. I personally know dozens, I won't say hundreds, dozens of people that have benefited from that site. And that's one of the reasons why I asked him to be a national sponsor. And now that's done with my first commercial. Don't type out WW anymore to me. I'll get it better next week. And the crowd goes wild. A little applause, please, for the host. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Matt, take over.
Okay. Well, we're going to every episode have a couple of things that will be fun. And this fun thing we're going to do are stories rejected by LTC News. We've got editors across the country and around the world who get lots of stories. We don't print most of them. So let me ask you, how's your sense of smell?
With a nose like this, pretty good.
Yeah. Tafa, can you smell stuff?
Yes, absolutely. Especially if it has onions and bacon in it. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, onions and
Food.
bacon, yeah.
He's a food guy. Okay. All right. Well, there is a big stink going on. It's going on multiple places in the world besides Mike Banner's condo in Florida.
Hey.
Just telling you. What do you think of flowers? Does everyone like flowers? I'm sure
like
Cassandra
flowers.
is going to get flowers here as we record this just before Valentine's Day. You're probably going to get flowers.
Yeah.
We
If
hope
not,
so.
you'll be very disappointed.
You'll be,
Someone text my
Her
husband.
husband will be disappointed. Her husband will be disappointed that night if she doesn't get it.
Okay, so let's talk about what is happening in Brooklyn, New York. Who has been to
Okay.
Brooklyn?
Mm.
Couple of
Yeah.
you, right? Brooklyn. Okay, well, what's going on in Brooklyn right now, there's a flower that hopefully Cassandra will not get. Now, if you don't like someone, you can send this flower. I may know people like that, but this is not a flower that you want to send to anyone that you like. This flower is called the Amorphophallus. I probably mispronounced that. It is the corpse flower equally stinky cousin. And there are thousands of New Yorkers in line to smell this flower. So this flower, okay, Cassandra, you speak French, right? You know, on every perfume, there's the words E-A-U-D-E. How do you pronounce that?
It's eau de,
Y-
like eau de parfum.
Eau de? Okay, eau de dumpster fire is really
Dumpster
probably the best name for this. Experts say, and if you want to go to New York and Brooklyn and check this out for yourself, it smells like feet, cheese, and rotten meat. Meanwhile, in
Isn't-
Sydney, Australia, what's that?
Isn't New York the state that just had like national news about them trying to finally pick up the garbage in the street? I feel like they should just take the win, you know?
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. This might be better than that. And
Executive thinking, Cassandra.
if you're in Sydney, Australia, the corpse flower is blooming right now as we record this show for the first time in 15 years. And yes, that smells like a corpse. This
And you
is
didn't
a
want to
story.
print that?
No, it didn't make that. But
I
anyhow,
wonder
there
why.
you
Why
go.
you could have saved people from visiting Brooklyn. Not that anybody visits Brooklyn; they visit Queens. That's the county to go to. But go to be that
All
as
right,
it may.
so if for our Brooklyn listeners, he really doesn't mean that, but we'll give you his address at the end of the show so you can kind of tell Mike about Brooklyn. There you go.
Well, welcome back, Cotter, which might be one of your quiz questions one day. That was filmed in Brooklyn. Does anybody who here likes Welcome Back, Cotter? Welcome back, Okay. All right, fine. All right, let's delve back into reality. There are different types of long-term care insurance. And there are more than most people think. Let's discuss that. There's what you call traditional. There's what you call the hybrid program. There are other programs that can have riders included. So let's start. Who wants to talk about traditional and give that not a 10,000-foot view, but a layman's view? For somebody watching this going, I know I need it, but I've never called a professional. Why should I? I don't think I can afford it. Tell us about that. Tell us about traditional. Cassandra or Matt, whichever one wants to go.
Cassandra, go.
Cassandra.
So traditional long-term care insurance is similar to any other kind of insurance that you might get, and also very different. So we'll talk about the scary part first, which is the premium. 99% of the time for traditional long-term care insurance, you're going to pay it the way that you would any other kind of insurance policy. So it's going to go into your budget. You're going to pay it monthly or quarterly or annually. It's just going to become part of coverages that you might otherwise have. Now, what's interesting about long-term care insurance is the policy is going to make available to you a certain number of dollars every month. Okay, so that's something that you and your financial professional can look at your finances, your family history, your preferences. You sit down, cost of care in the area, you sit down and determine with your professional how much you want your policy to pay you per month. And then your policy is going to have a total pot or a total pool of money from which you draw that monthly benefit. And so the idea is the more money you put in your pool, the longer your long-term care policy is going to pay you for your costs. Now, there's all kinds of, additional riders and things we can spend our money on for long-term care insurance. The couple of the most popular are going to be inflation protection. Right? So the idea here is, I might be 50. I might not need this till I'm 80. How do I make sure that whatever benefit amounts I select now are still going to give me the oomph that I want later? And then there's something called shared care. We can get into all of these, I think, at a later time. But do you guys feel like that's pretty easy for someone to understand, or would you add anything?
So let me ask you a question, Cassandra. Let me ask you a question. Why the word traditional? Is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing?
No, just like any industry, we have our jargon, right? You might hear traditional long-term care insurance described as standalone long-term care insurance. I'm not sure why we quibble over the terminology necessarily, but we certainly do. You'll hear all the words if you Google it. But I would say that long-term care insurance first came out in the 70s with GE, which later spun off into Genworth. So that same model is still being sold in a lot of ways today. And so a lot of people call it traditional.
Traditional. All right. All right. Now, again, I'm just going to throw in as a layman. So many people, you gave an example of somebody in their 50s. And I do talk about this a lot wherever I am. And they go, I'm way too young for that. What do I got to do that now for? Logic suggests that the younger you do it, the healthier you are, the lower your premium is going to be. That's logic. Am I correct in that? That if they do this when they're a healthy 50-year-old or 48-year-old, quite frankly, the premium is going to beat the hell out of a healthy 62-year-old?
Yes. If I can give like a little secret of the industry, I'm going to cut off Matt here for a second. Sorry, Matt. So yes, your age is very important. Your health is even more important. But here's the secret. We all want the insurance companies that offer these products to remain healthy so that they can continue to pay those claims later. And so what does a healthy insurance company do? Every couple years, they refile their product with the state departments of insurance, so that they can have the most recent, most up-and-coming actuarial stats in the pricing of their product. So if you were to today take a 50-year-old and a 60-year-old, sure, the 60-year-old's premium is going to be higher because he's 60, but it's not going to be an astronomical difference. The problem is if you're 50 today and you wait those 10 years until you're 60, you may go through 2 cycles of rate refreshes where overnight the insurance companies have gotten something approved or refiled that premium is different. So the answer is, as soon as you're healthy enough and able to afford it, that's when you're going to have your lowest premium, and it's not going to get better historically.
Matt, before you jump in, this is just reality. The public's hatred for insurance companies, all insurance companies, especially homeowners and flood, but nobody likes the insurance agent anymore. Oh my God, my premiums keep going up. Oh my God, I got turned down for a claim. I mean, second to tobacco, guns, I don't know. Insurance is up there. People are premium. Look at your average person. Auto insurance premium, homeowners insurance premium, healthcare insurance premium, maybe long-term care insurance premium, maybe Medicare supplemental premium. People, if you add people's premiums together today, it's like a house payment. Okay, but people do have to understand the insurance companies have to stay healthy. That's the point I'm trying to make. And that when a healthcare insurance agency raises its premiums, it's not necessarily to get the CEO a new jet, which is what cable news and regular news wants you to
Well, it's
think.
also illegal. It's illegal. And so I'm going to piggyback here just because you said that, and I'm sitting there as a listener, and I'm all of a sudden now concerned. With long-term care insurance, unlike other types of insurance, an insurance company can't just get a rate increase. Matter of fact, we've seen virtually no rate increases since rate stability rules have been put in force in most states, and more importantly, since the interest rate crash. Some of the old legacy products, these are products sold decades ago, before Cassandra was even born. They had rate increases. The primary reason they had rate increases is because no actuary, and by the way, you can quote me, actuaries think that they are the smartest people on the planet. They're pretty smart, but they don't know everything. They never predicted that we would go through such a long period of time of extreme low interest rate environment. And because insurance companies have to put a lot of their reserves in federal bonds and those types of instruments, the insurance companies got in trouble. Okay. Yeah. Plus, they didn't think that people would use these policies, meaning that they thought that they would lapse them. People don't lapse long-term care insurance. So today's products are rate stable, and an insurance company can't just raise a premium. There is a legal process. You have to go to the Department of Insurance. You have to prove a substantial need. It has to go across the board to an entire class of people, meaning they can't just pick on Cassandra and not me. And it has to be based on actuarial reasons, not profit. It's against the law. Can't do it.
And let me clarify too about this, because there's 2 types of rate increases, right? So I'm talking about rate increases before people have their policy. Now we're talking about in-force rate action, which is when people have existing policies. So for everybody listening, there's two different conversations going on at the same time here. One is how stable the existing policyholders' coverages and rates are expected to be, versus just what the insurance company does before you have your policy to make sure that rate's appropriate.
What the last 10 minutes, and I'm going to say this to our producer, Anthony, this last 10 minutes is what I want to put out to everybody. Because Matt, when you said, and Cassandra agreed, of course, that it is illegal for an existing policyholder to have their premiums raised on a long-term care. Am I saying that correct?
No, you're not saying that correct.
It
is illegal for an insurance company just to pick on Mike Banner, and not on anyone else, and they can't make that decision themselves. So we'll back up a second. Before any insurance company can sell a long-term care insurance policy, they have to go and file their product, as Cassandra mentioned, with the Department of Insurance. They have to certify with the Department of Insurance that they expect the premium to remain level for the life of the product series. It's not guaranteed, but they expect. and they have all their underwriting and actuarial data to support that view. Okay. So if an insurance company down the road says, gee, we need an increase, they have to go back to the Department of Insurance, prove all that, why they need it, and explain why they messed up. It's not easy. And it has to be an entire class of people. And we take back, you mentioned auto insurance and homeowners insurance, and you got the California fires, and you got hurricanes, and you got all these crazy things. They don't play by the same rules. Okay, so if my neighbor has a major fire, everyone on this block is going to get a rate increase. Doesn't matter what the insurance company is. They don't have to ask anyone, hey, next renewal, boom. They could even say, you know what? Let's say Cassandra has gotten her 4th speeding ticket. I'm sure she does not speed in Sarasota, but let's say she does. Now she's on 4 speeding tickets. Guess what the insurance company can do to Cassandra?
To kick her out or either raise her stuff.
They can cancel the policy.
That's right.
With long-term care insurance, it's against the law to cancel the policy. It doesn't matter how old you get. It doesn't matter what happens to your health. They can't cancel the policy, nor could they change your premium by yourself. There are substantial consumer protections with long-term care insurance that don't exist with a lot of these other products. So when you read stuff on the internet or listen to some podcast or radio show, and they're saying some of the things that Mike kind of alluded to, and they go on, oh, this is fact, you got to say, there's more to it.
Shenanigans. It's shenanigans. Well,
malarkey, as a former president.
It's malarkey.
Hey, malarkey.
Malarkey. I think this last message is going to be the one we put out because it's just an incredible message that I don't think the public knows. They're looking at, I'm not picking on Citizens Mortgage, but I am. They're looking at that premium that's coming in, and every time Florida has a hurricane or a storm that's going up and up, they don't get permission from anybody. The LTC part of the insurance world doesn't do that. And I think that's very important. And if they are going to do it, they have to do it under governmental regiment, and it has to prove, and it has to be a class of people.
And if you're a consumer and you want guarantees, Tafa looks like a guy that he likes guarantees. Right? He wants guarantees. All right. There are products. We talked about traditional. There are products that say, okay, we guarantee the premium can never go up. If that's a concern, that's why you talk to specialists who know what they're doing.
That's right.
And find out whether that is appropriate. Now, that's not a traditional policy. I wouldn't say that's non-traditional. It's in its own category. We're not going to get into it unless you want to, but
not yet.
There are lots of different ways to plan, and some of them don't even involve insurance. But planning, of course, is key, and don't fall for some of the stuff you read on the internet.
Yeah.
Anyone, they even let me put stuff on the internet. So
really.
You don't necessarily believe everything you read.
No, I was going to agree with Matt. Yes, I do like guarantees. And so for me, the one thing as I was engrossed in the business and visiting with a lot of these families, it became very evident to me that the only way that I can guarantee protecting my family and my wife and preserving our estate was to buy this long-term care insurance product. I bought my first policy at 34. So I've been paying on my policy for many, many years now. I figured that was the only way that I could kind of get a lock in, and really have that coverage. So I bought one for myself and for my wife. And so we still have them to this day. And you would never in a million years consider giving those up. We gladly pay those premiums because we understand what happens as a result of not having that.
You see it every day. All right. Well, that leads us to our second commercial because time is flying by. And this commercial is about Platinum LTC Solutions, something close to my heart. Long-term care insurance is peace of mind. Platinum LTC Solutions lends a combination of expertise and compassion to your long-term care insurance decision. Ranking in the top 2% of their industry, they bring their expertise to you and your family. They have a free, no-hassle process based on your unique situation and concerns. Their long-term care specialists shop all of the top insurers in the country to make sure you have the best rate and the best coverage options. So please go to www.62whoknew, click on the link that says long-term care insurance, and get one of Cassandra's absolute specialists. You could possibly even get Cassandra. You might get Matt McCann. You might get Cassandra's mother, who sells more than both of them. But we don't say that out loud, and we're going to have her as a guest soon too. But please do that. This is an industry of compassion. And now let's lead us to non-traditional or hybrid. Cassandra explained traditional. Matt, what's a hybrid product?
Well, hybrid is kind of what I referred to a little bit, is if you want a guarantee. A hybrid combines traditional tax-qualified long-term care insurance on a chassis that has life insurance or a qualified annuity. So what it does is it allows you to have long-term care insurance and a death benefit. So if you're the type of individual that wants guarantees, premium can never go up. You can even pay just one premium. You can pay it over
Single
5
premium
years, 10
product.
years, 20, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, or you can pay it every year, but the premium can never go up. So the way it works, pretty simple, is the policy creates a tax-free pool of money for long-term care. A couple companies have where couples can share that pool of money. They each have their own individual monthly benefit for long-term care from one benefit account. And in that case, that's a second to die death benefit. So if they're lucky to never need long-term care, you're at least going to get the death benefit, if not a lot more because of the long-term care. It's not for everyone because obviously there's a higher cost. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there's a rumor that says that there's a 100% chance of death. Is that true?
I believe that statistic, although I don't usually believe statistics, but
Okay.
yes.
So,
Unless you Mr. Spock. Okay.
Okay, of course. So you're going to get money back no matter what. Is it appropriate for you? Well, that's why you talk to, a specialist in long-term care planning that can help you decide if that is the type of product that you want. Now, there's one thing to be very careful with. There's a lot of products that sound like a hybrid, but they're not. They do not meet federal guidelines under Section 7702B of U.S. Code. If you want to go Google that. And they can put obstacles in how you receive that quote-unquote long-term care benefit, including things like you have to be terminal, okay? And most long-term care situations are not terminal. There's taxable issues. There's all sorts of problems with products that don't meet federal guidelines. So make sure your specialist, make sure that they show you, if you're a consumer thinking about this type of product, and there's a lot of fine products that actually meet federal guidelines.
Before I know, Cassandra, you're going to want to add to that, but again, to hear the words, there's a guarantee that your premium won't go up in these products if you can, if that's the product you pick. I think, and I want you all to say, no, you're wrong, or I don't think the masses know something like that even exists. They're all going, oh my God, the premiums will just go up and up. By the time I get to my 80s, I'll be on Social Security and a fixed income. And when I need it, I won't be able to afford it. But if they write, or if they get the right policy, that's fiction. That won't happen, correct?
I think that we're using the word guarantee, and I just want to clarify one thing. So in both traditional and hybrid long-term care, the benefits are always guaranteed, and those benefits are always tax-free. So when we talk about, someone who may be on the higher end from an asset perspective, there's a question of, should I just try and fund this myself? Should I just try and pay for it? And one thing that a lot of those individuals come back to at some point is that the market is not guaranteed at any given moment, right? So long-term care insurance, traditional and hybrid, the benefit, the most important part, what happens if you need it, is fully guaranteed no matter what, including if you selected an inflation option on either plan. That's a choice you can make both ways. But yeah, there's a little bit for everyone. depending on what your priorities are and what your big goals are.
This is the message why we all came together. This is the message that we have to get out, because there's just so many people who think they can't have this luxury of long-term care insurance, when in fact, with longer lifespans and more technology and medical breakthroughs coming in the next 10 or 20 years, that's another show, that are going to take us way past 90 into 3 digits. LTC insurance is going to become a necessity, just like having this right by your side or anything else. And
but what
that's
does it
the
pay
message.
for, Mike? What does it pay for? And I think that's the key.
Tell me
It
that.
pays for quality care, services, and support. So if you want to stay home and, have professional caregivers like at Amada or whomever, you have the resources to pay for quality care. And there are huge differences in the quality of caregivers.
Yes, there is.
Huge differences. And so what are the consequences of long-term care? Yes, there's a financial consequence, and then there's a consequence on your family and how you're going to be taken care of. And that's, I think, the focus here is,
Yes.
yeah, it's a great product, it's fine. But what's the end result? The end result is you're going to have guaranteed tax-free money to pay for your choice of quality care, giving you peace of mind and reducing the burden on your children and grandchildren. And that is a great thing.
And before we go to our next little bit of levity to get some smiles in this long-term care, we're going to take care of you and help you go to the bathroom topic. Isn't it true that there is a 100% refund of premium rider? Am I behind the times? I remember reading about that.
Well, there's death benefits, and there are traditional policies, Cassandra, that you can mention that have a return of premium rider.
So when somebody goes, oh my God, what if I don't need it? My mother lived to be 102 and she was healthy. Then my premiums are gone. It's wasted. No, we have a plan that takes care of that as well.
Mike, how many times have you totaled your car?
Only once, and it wasn't my fault. I didn't get the ticket.
Okay. All right.
Almost died, though.
Okay.
Spinning around on Route
I asked that
275.
question. Most people say never. So if I've never totaled my car, did I waste those premiums, or am I happy I didn't get in a bad car accident?
Exactly. I was in a Corvette too. Almost died. Yeah, but just crunched the Corvette around.
Another story.
Another story. But, Superman survives stuff like that. All righty. Our next bit, we hold it over to the Vice President of Smiles, Matt McCann.
All right, so you can play at home, and this will be Name That Tune. These are songs that I played on the radio, because I used to be on the radio. I think someone mentioned that is true. It'll be the Grays against the Millennials.
Tafa.
It's pretty easy to tell who the Grays are. I'm going to name a couple of lyrics to the song on a piece of paper. You're going to write down what you think the name of that song is, and then you'll
not blurt out the answer. Write it down.
Now, because they're millennials, we're going to give them extra help. Okay?
Of course.
If they have no clue, they can write one time, "Okay, Boomer," and we're going to give them a point for that. Okay? Is everyone ready?
Well, and after we destroy you, we'll create a safe place later after the show
absolutely,
for you to go
absolutely.
and be okay.
Here we go. Number one. Gitchy, gitchy, ya, ya, da, da. Hey, hey, hey. Gitchy, gitchy, ya, ya, yeah. Write down the song. Give you a moment. And then we're going to ask everyone to disclose. And then I'm going to keep score. All right, millennials first. Disclose. John's still writing down. Well, wait. John, you ready? Okay. John has Lady Marmalade. That is correct. That is 1 point. Cassandra. Lady Marmalade. 2 points.
Whoa.
All right. Millennials.
I did not have that.
Okay. Mike.
Oh, wait. She didn't get that.
I did not have that.
Oh, you didn't? What did you write down?
Moulin Rouge, ?
Oh, I didn't see that. So no. Oh, wait.
Oh, we got the buzzer. Oh my
we
God.
got the buzzer.
We got
Okay.
sound effects.
I
John,
couldn't come up with the name. I was thinking Moulin Rouge, and like, what is the French song? Moulin Rouge, but I butchered it.
Okay.
Mike?
Do
I get it? Oh, I got Lady Marmalade.
All
And
right.
do I get extra points if I say voulez-vous coucher avec moi? I said that wrong, didn't I? Said it wrong. Okay. But I know the words to the song too.
Yeah, I
It's
didn't do
French.
the French part because I can't speak French. All right, so it's tied,
Oui,
1-1. Here's number 2. The marching band came down Main Street. The soldier blues fell in behind. I looked across, and there I saw Billy waiting to go and join the line. This may be a hard one.
Don't worry, Tafa. Don't
Give you a
pressure
moment.
yourself. I got
At
it.
home, hopefully you're playing along. All right. Millennials, you get to go first again. John's writing down his answer. Is he ready?
This
All right, John.
is a guess. I will admit.
Little red Corvette. No.
He should
That
have
is
a point
incorrect.
taken away for that.
Cassandra, what is your guess?
Well, I am going with Billy, and I'm going to say, Billy, get your gun.
Interesting, but incorrect.
Good guess, though.
All right. All right. Tafa, your guess.
I drew a complete blank. I've never heard those lyrics before in my life.
All right. Mr. Banner.
Thank you very much. Billy, don't be a hero. Don't be a fool with your life. Billy, don't be a hero. I
That
would sing
is
more than-
correct.
Oh, yeah, thank you very
Bo
much.
Donaldson and the Haywoods, May of
That's right.
1974. Boomers are up 2-1. Song number 3. Here we go. And I won't miss the way that you kiss me. We were never carved in stone. If I don't listen to the talk of the town, maybe I can fool myself.
I'm going with Okay, Boomer.
I'll give you one more line. I'll get over you. I know I will. I pretend my ship's not sinking, and I'll tell you myself I'm over you, cause. All right. Write down your answers.
Let's go, Cassandra. We got this.
All right.
Already entered.
John. All right. Fools in Love. Now, no. Cassandra.
I already
Nothing?
entered a plea
Nothing?
of Okay, Boomer.
Okay, so you get 1 point for Okay Boomer. All
Okay,
right.
Boomer. Let's go.
Tafa and Michael.
I know the song, but I'm at a loss in this one.
Okay.
The closest I got was Olivia Newton-John.
You should get a negative on that one. All right, this was for June 1990, The King of Wishful Thinking by Go West.
Oh.
Man, I love
Number 1 song. All right, here we go. It's 2-2, tied. Number 4, here we go. Are you ready? All right. Some say it's a sign of weakness for a man to beg. Then weak I'd rather be if it means having you to keep. Because lately I've been losing sleep. Empty nights echo your name. Oh, sometimes I wonder, will I ever be the same? Oh, yeah.
I don't know the song, but I just got excited when you said that to me.
I literally don't even know
I
10
guarantee.
that I could write down. That's
We're
what
not going to do 10. We're only doing 5 because of time. We're only
Okay,
doing
that's
5.
fine. This is number 4. Go ahead. Any guess?
John?
Wow, man. I don't think I have the title of the song right, but I know that beg is in the title. Is it Don't Make Me Beg?
No.
That's
No?
what you said.
No.
That's what you said to your wife last night. That's not a song.
Cassandra.
Yeah, I
No
don't
clue?
know. Not at all.
Okay,
Millennials
how
blow
about
it.
Ain't proud
Tafa.
to beg.
Tafa?
Ain't too
What's
proud
that?
to beg.
Yeah. No, you guys are on the right track, but no. Mr. Banner.
No.
James Brown.
Really? Oh.
No points.
Four
Four
top.
tops. Baby, I need
Wow.
your love and
Nothing.
I have all
your love.
Oh, my
baby,
God.
I need
Tafa,
your- all right.
shame on us. The
Okay.
4 tops. Oh, my God.
All right, tiebreaker.
Okay.
Shame on us. Last one.
All right, we're only
This-
we got one more and then we're
Yeah,
done.
this- Yeah, we only got 3. Yeah, no.
Here we go. Some people call me the space cowboy.
Oh, yeah.
Some people call me the gangster of love. Some people call me Maurice because I speak of the pompous of love. Okay?
What? I know this whole song by heart, and I can't think of the freaking title.
It is 2-2. We have to break the tie. Boomers.
John,
Oh,
John,
do I get as a
You have
millennial-
one okay boomer left. John, you have that to play. Are you going to play that?
do I get a hit?
You can just use okay boomer and get your point.
Oh, is it the Temptations? Okay, Boomer. Okay, Boomer. I'm calling my okay,
Okay,
Boomer.
we're going to give you a point. Cassandra, do you have a guess?
Oh, not at all. Not even close.
Not even close. Okay, Tafa.
I'm not close.
Not close. Mr. Banner, it's 3-2. If you get it correct, you'll tie it and we'll go to a tiebreaker. If you get it incorrect, the millennials will beat the grays. Your answer, please.
Can I call a friend?
No.
Oh, man. I give
No
up.
answer?
No.
The Joker by Steve Miller Band,
Oh,
number one from
okay.
1973. All
All
right,
right.
millennial,
And all right.
congratulations. You are this week's champions.
I do think we're going to have
It's
to
just
lower
wrong.
our pop culture bar a little bit.
No more freebies next week.
All right,
No.
back to
I'm gonna be
62 Who
doing-
Knew and our host, Mr. Banner.
All right, and with just a minute and a half left in the entire show, I want to recognize Amada Senior Care. But before I read this, I want to say that I was on for the first time a national call this morning with Amada Senior Care, and if you would have asked me before the call how great a company this was, I would have just screamed it from the rooftops how incredible it is. But I had no idea, no conception of how deeply this company goes into taking care of families and the things they do for veterans and the things they do for people with dementia, not just Alzheimer's. There's a lot of dementia besides Alzheimer's. When John gave me the last 10 seconds to wrap it up, I said to John, you're never going to hear this, but I'm speechless. I didn't almost know what to say after sitting for an hour and learning what an incredible company Tafa you created. So just unbelievable. Now I'll do your commercial. That wasn't a commercial. That was just me and what I learned today about Amada. So why choose Amada Senior Care? At Amada, quality care is our priority. We look for ways to make simple, everyday tasks special. Amada's in-home caregivers not only take care of daily essentials like cooking, cleaning, grocery shopping, but they also go above and beyond to spend time with their families. Recently, one of our caregivers discovered that her client spent his whole life farming. So she purchased some seeds before her visit and planted a garden for them to tend together. At Amada, we know in-home care isn't just about performing and open their heart to a stranger. Our caregivers understand that it's essential to show compassion and really connect with their clients to make that transition of letting a stranger in their home a little easier. Amada caregivers are trained to provide assistance with all types of personal care. And please go to 62 Who Knew, check on the Amada link. And if you or any of your friends or any of your loved ones need in-home care, I can tell you personally, this is the place to get it. This wraps up our second episode, and I just thank all of you for being here because we're trying to make a difference in people's lives. Not all podcasts are doing that. Some are entertaining. Some are great to listen to. I know I listen to enough, but we want this to really make a difference in people's lives. And you four do that every day for everybody that you talk to. I think that's incredible. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.